In the minds of many, Hawaii is a tropical paradise. Blue oceans stretching to the horizon, white sandy beaches, and warm breezes blowing in from the Pacific. But beneath this breathtaking natural beauty, Honolulu hides a grim and worsening reality, an explosive homelessness crisis that, as of 2025, continues to spiral out of control. Let's take a deeper look at the homelessness crisis in Honolulu, Hawaii, 2025. Over the 5-year span from 2019 to 2024, Hawaii recorded a dramatic surge in homelessness. The number of homeless individuals rose from 44 to 80.5 per 10,000 residents, marking the highest increase among all U.S. states. At the heart of this crisis lies Honolulu, the capital city of Hawaii, which now faces one of the most severe social challenges in its modern history. While millions of tourists continue to flock to the island for its natural charm, the city is becoming increasingly defined by the growing number of people without a place to call home. In 2025, Oahu, the most densely populated island in the state, recorded a significant jump in its homeless population. A total of 4,494 individuals were reported living without stable housing, an 11.6% increase compared to the previous year. The roots of Honolulu's homelessness crisis are long-standing. For decades, the city has been caught in the grip of a severe housing shortage, rapidly rising rents, and a cost of living far above the national average. Renting even a modest apartment in Honolulu can cost more than $2,000 per month, while basic goods like groceries and toiletries are often 50% more expensive than on the mainland. Coupled with stagnant wages and a weak social safety net, these conditions have driven many residents into poverty, leaving them one step away from homelessness. In a place so often seen as idyllic, this growing crisis serves as a stark reminder that paradise for many is out of reach. The rising number of individuals living on sidewalks, beaches, in cars, or in makeshift tents throughout Honolulu illustrates just how deep the problem runs and how urgently it needs to be addressed. What stands out most in Honolulu's homelessness crisis is the proportion of individuals living entirely unsheltered. Of the total homeless population, 2,776 people, about 62%, reside in open spaces, city parks, alleyways, canal edges, and makeshift tents on sidewalks. Locations such as Ala Park, Kaka'ako, and the area surrounding the Alawai Canal have become visible epicenters of this ongoing crisis. Among these, one of the more organized homeless communities is Pu'uhonua o Waianae, which translates to Place of Refuge at Waianae. Situated near the Waianae Boat Harbor, this community shelters around 200 individuals and is recognized as the largest homeless encampment in Hawaii. However, residents refer to it not as a camp, but as a village. That's because it has its own internal structure, collective spirit, and a strong sense of shared responsibility. The late Twinkle Borge, the community's respected leader, implemented a value-driven system based on mutual respect and accountability. Rules include no drugs, no stealing, and quiet hours after 8 p.m. Residents are grouped into blocks, each overseen by a captain, creating a layer of informal governance that fosters protection and stability within harsh conditions. Most of Pu'uhonua o Waianae's residents are native Hawaiians, and roughly 18 families live there with their children. Surviving in this camp is no easy feat. Shelters are often tents or modest structures built from salvaged materials. New arrivals are allocated a small piece of land and, if available, a mattress and food. Daily needs are met through donations, public kitchens, and collective work. A spirit of mutual aid is central, Older children help care for their siblings, and adults gather to share meals and stories in the village's communal area. But not all unsheltered individuals have the security of a place like Pu'uhonua o Waianae. In places such as Iwa Beach, Kapolei, and Waianae Beach, many live in makeshift tents, cars, and even cardboard shelters. With only 2 emergency shelters in the entire Waianae area, many remain without access to basic necessities like sanitation or clean water. Here, soup kitchens, mobile clinics, and emergency shelters become lifelines. Soup kitchens serve daily free meals, while temporary shelters provide a rare chance to rest and seek refuge from tropical storms or cold nights. Mobile medical units and community health centers, such as those in Iwalei, a government-designated focus area for homeless services, are vital. However, staff shortages and limited resources often prevent these programs from reaching all those in need, especially individuals suffering from mental health issues or substance addiction. In response, the state and city governments have announced plans to build 14 kauhale, small-scale community housing villages, designed to move unsheltered individuals off the streets and into more stable, humane environments. As for Pu'uhonua o Waianae, the community is now transitioning into a permanent village. After 2 years of fundraising, they successfully purchased 50 acres, 20 hectares, of land and have begun construction on small homes, utility infrastructure, and communal kitchens. This transformation is being supported by the state, city government, and private donors. Once completed, residents are expected to pay only $250 per family per month, a remarkably affordable rate compared to Honolulu's average rent of $2,000 or more for a 1-bedroom unit. This shift represents a rare and hopeful example of what community-led, culturally rooted solutions can look like amid a deepening crisis, offering not just shelter, but dignity and long-term opportunity. Living unhoused in Hawaii is not just about lacking a roof. It's about surviving day to day amid complex social struggles and constant danger. While Oahu's tropical landscapes may look idyllic to tourists, the reality is vastly different for the thousands of people living on sidewalks, in parks, and along the beaches. Every night, the homeless face threats of violence, theft, and disturbances, sometimes from law enforcement, but often from residents who do not want them in their neighborhoods. The social stigma only deepens the problem. Many unhoused individuals are shunned, suspected, or treated as public nuisances. Yet among them are families, elders, and veterans who lost housing due to economic hardship, health issues, or family breakdown. This discrimination leads many to avoid official services out of fear of being mistreated or forcibly removed without long-term solutions. Environmental risks pose another layer of danger. Despite Hawaii's warm climate, tropical storms, heavy rains, and intense heat are real threats. Without adequate shelter, sunburns, skin infections, and dehydration are common and sometimes life-threatening. Limited access to clean water and sanitation further worsens public health conditions. Mental health disorders and substance dependency are widespread, yet rarely addressed effectively. Many live with untreated trauma, anxiety, and social isolation, issues that spiral without proper psychological support. As a result, many become trapped in a repeating cycle of instability and decline. With more than 6,000 individuals experiencing homelessness across Hawaii, most of them on Oahu, the state and city governments are now taking more progressive steps to address the crisis holistically. A key initiative is the Kauhale program, including projects like Alana Olapono, which recently opened in downtown Honolulu. These mini-communities combine housing, communal spaces, and essential services like job training, detox referrals, and healthcare. Governor Josh Green has emphasized that these villages are not just places to sleep. They are spaces where people can regain dignity, a sense of belonging, and pathways to independence. However, the program is not without controversy. Supporters praise the culturally sensitive design and flexibility, such as allowing pets, an important aspect for many unhoused individuals. Critics, on the other hand, raise concerns about long-term operational costs and social integration challenges in Honolulu's densely populated neighborhoods. To counter potential federal funding cuts, Mayor Rick Blangiardi doubled the city's homelessness budget from $14 million to $28 million for the 2026 fiscal year. The increased funding supports mobile resource centers and a special nonviolent crisis response ambulance team. While the city relies on property taxes without raising them, the added financial load, including wastewater infrastructure upgrades, raises concerns about fiscal sustainability in the years ahead. Another innovative step is Kumu Olaho, a transitional shelter focusing on brain and behavioral health. It offers new hope for homeless individuals with trauma or brain injuries, combining scientific design, healing architecture, and native Hawaiian cultural frameworks. Backed by collaboration between the state, city, and NGOs like the Institute for Human Services, IHS, the program illustrates the power of cross-sector partnerships. However, the facility's current capacity, only 24 beds, underscores a major gap between need and availability. Future expansion will be critical if the model proves successful. Meanwhile, the state's repatriation program, which has helped over 800 individuals return to the U.S. mainland since 2015, is being considered for permanent adoption. While the initiative is credited with lowering Hawaii's homeless population, it faces ethical scrutiny, accused by some of exporting the problem, along with concerns about whether receiving communities are prepared to reintegrate vulnerable returnees. Culturally rooted approaches are also gaining strength through forums like the Kukulu Kumuhana Conference, which promotes the importance of local values and spiritual connection to the land in shaping solutions. This method is seen as vital in restoring dignity and psychosocial resilience among Native Hawaiian communities most affected by the crisis. With a mix of innovation, cultural integration, and evolving budget dynamics, Honolulu's approach to homelessness hinges on how effectively the government can balance cost efficiency, cultural sensitivity, and interagency collaboration. One thing is clear: there is no one-size-fits-all solution. This crisis demands a multidimensional, long-term strategy grounded in empathy and shaped by the people it's meant to serve.